3 for 3. Okay, so let's do this. This is a ranking video for a band that I have a deep love-hate relationship with. Okay? I'm going to show you one of the records just because it's these guys. In Flames. Okay? So, the reason why I have such a love-hate relationship with them will be talked about later on as I go through these. I'm not going to do this. I've got these records separated the best way that I know how, so I can deliver this the best way I know how. So I'm going to give you a little bit of a bio in case some of you guys who don't know need to know. Some people have heard them, some people have never listened to them ever. So the band was formed by Jesper Stromblad in Gothenburg, Sweden in 1990, same year that Entombed's Left Hand Path was released. These guys, along with At the Gates and Dark Tranquillity, are what you would classify as the pioneers of mellow death metal over, obviously, in Sweden. The current lineup is Anders Frieden on vocals, Bjorn Gillete on the guitars, Chris Broderick, formerly of Megadeth, is also on guitars, mostly leads. Bryce Paul is the drummer, Bryce Paul is the bassist, and Tanner Wayne is the drummer. So to start off, Lunar Strain is so the next little bit that I go through here is just kind of sort of where they started and so on and so forth, and because lineup changes happened. So Lunar Strain features Jesper Stromblad, Glenn Lundstrom, and Johan Larsson. Glenn is a guitar player, and Johan Larsson is the bass player. Now, of course, they've had some session players come in and play drums, and on that record, it features Michael Stana, who is also on Dark Tranquillity, and another great band that I'll get to also later. Now, the Jester Race features the very first record with Bjorn Gillete on drums, because he started out as a drummer with the band, and Anders Frieden he took over on vocals. Because Anders at one point was in Dark Tranquillity, and Michael was in Flames, so they kind of switched. This was the first time that they did a record over at Studio Fredman, and a lot of their records right up until, I can't remember, I think it was Reroute To Remain, I think is where they went, or where they stopped going to Studio Fredman. If anybody knows that, can comment or let me know, go ahead. I didn't worry about the production values on this, really. I just wanted to kind of get into the main meat potatoes of it. Okay, so Horacle, Jan and Glenn leave after the recording of the record. Bjorn moves from the drums to the guitars. Nicholas Englund and Peter Ewers enter the fray, and they play bassing. So Nicholas is a guitar player, and also Peter is a bass player. So they joined, did the record, and then, Johan and Glenn were there, but Peter and Nicholas came in after it, but Nick left after the tour, I think it was. And once Bjorn moved over to guitars, Daniel Svensson come in on the drums. So the lineup essentially becomes Anders on vocals, Bjorn on guitars, Peter on the bass, Jesper Stromblad still there on guitars, and Daniel Svensson. And this basically stays right up until A Sense of Purpose, and that's when Nicholas returns, and then he leaves just recently. Now, it still says, if you look, it still says that he's a member of the band, but I don't believe he is. Get to that later. Daniel Svensson leaves in 2015 after the tour that surrounds Siren Charms, And battles will feature Joe Rickard on the drums, and for just for the sessions, Tanner Wayne takes over on the kit. And last but not least, Peter Ewers also departs on the battles record. In comes new bassist Bryce Paul. Now, let's get to the ranking. So, there's going to be some controversial picks in here. Or at least I think they're controversial picks. Some people may not. Some people think I might be off my fucking rocker, and that's fine. You can do that all you want. So, out of the 13 records that they have, I have 11 of them. There's 2 I'm missing. So, we have at number 13, Lunar Strain. Now, this is the very first record that features Michael and Glenn, Johan, Jesper, and of course a few different people on drums and guitars and so on. Honestly, I mean, there's a few of the tracks here that they still play, Behind Space, In Flames, Upon an Oaken Throne is cool, Clad in Shadows is cool. But nothing really, it just really does, and actually, this was also recorded at Studio Fred, but I just looked at the little sort of liner notes there. Yeah, it's not because I don't like it, it's just not my favorite record by them. And it just, honestly, I don't know, Michael as a singer for In Flames just really didn't make much sense to me. But that's okay. There's no big deal there. Number 12, I the Mask. That's the latest record that they have. This is produced by Howard Benson. I'll get more into him later. For those of you guys who think that Andy Sneap is a really bad producer, while you are correct, you have absolutely no idea how garbage this fucker is. And I'll get to him later. Honestly, musically, it's not bad. It almost harkens back to sort of the Come Clarity era, or even soundtrack to Your Escape. Really, it's like I say, it's not that bad. The problem is the production it's really overproduced. I think there's like a couple tracks here, like Voices is alright, Burn's pretty cool, but the song This Is Our House, no, it's so bad. It's just a really, really bad song. They've been playing it live and fans have been kind of groaning halfway through it. So, what does that tell you? We're going to move on to... And you got to remember too, guys, I am a fan of this band. Although they're still going to... Yeah, anyways, I won't top into that next part I was about to talk about. But... I mean, this next record here, it's got sort of a cool album cover to it. But, I mean, the thing about this here is, Siren Charms is cool. When the World Explodes is cool. Rusted Nail is cool. Monsters in the Ballroom. But again, this is really sort of... It's just not that great. I just really could kind of do without it, to be honest. And this one here was produced... So this was done by Roberto Laghi and Daniel Bergstrand. Daniel Bergstrand's a good producer, but I don't know. I just felt like there was just... It was just too much. And the next one... So we got 13, 12, and 11. So at number 10, you got A Sense of Purpose. A record I don't hate, because I'm the Highway is good, Disconnected's good, Alias is cool. It's got sort of like this kind of neat little synthy sort of thing that comes in, and it's cool. Don't get me wrong, but that's you could tell they were still sort of in that sort of new metal look. And they weren't going to be coming out of that for a little bit. This was the record that superseded Come Clarity, so you can sort of tell Andrews has still got his You know, he's in the process of getting the beard and he's still got the dreads and all that. So my number 9, I actually don't have. And this is sort of where they get a little bit better for me. And that is, oh shit, Sounds of a Playground Fading. I don't hate that record. I mean, I'm hoping that I can go back to Halifax this summer and pick that and Jester Race up, because it's seemingly I've gotten half of my collection out of my shopping trips to Halifax. Sounds of a Playground Fading, it's really good. There's a couple of, Where the Dead Ship Dwells is pretty cool. The title track is good. Enter Tragedy's got this sort of like really big old super low tune kind of groove that kicks in, and that's one of the tunes I do like, but it's my number 9 for a specific reason. So we're gonna move in to the rest of them, and this is sort of where it's gonna get a little bit controversial, because there's some records in here that should be higher but they're not. So this is number 8. 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8. That is Soundtrack to Your Escape. This is the record just before Come Clarity, and this is where a lot of, some people will say that this here and Reroute To Remain are where a lot of the extra mellow bits come in. So yeah, Sounds of a Playground Fading, Friend, The Quiet Place is good, Dead Alone's good. Touch of Red's all right. My Sweet Shadow, In Search for I. It's good. It's not my favorite, but I'm always happy to have it. And I actually got this as a Christmas gift from the missus, and I fucking love that. I thought that was really cool. I'm like, where the fuck did you find that? But it's cool. So probably the first real sort of controversial pick. 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 8. Number 7. Yeah. Number 7. Colony. This should be a lot higher, but it's not. There's some good tunes on this. I mean, and it's really sort of shiny too, because this was a part of this reissue thing that was going on. It's kind of hard to see let me see if I could take this out here without it being kind of gouged. Oh, I can too. Yeah, see, it's kind of shiny and stuff. It's like a deluxe edition, and that was back when you could put the CD in, and there was like a CD-ROM sort of thing going on. I don't know what happened to the CD. I think it's kind of missing somewhere, but that's okay. I'll find it later. Embody the Invisible is good. Ordinary Stories, great. Scorn, Colony, Behind Space 99 is when they re-recorded it from the first record. Good, but this here is like the real early stuff where you could tell Anders is really just still in that sort of growl, but that high scream is coming in. So it's pretty damn cool. I still like it. It's just not one of my favorites. And there's a reason why as we get to the front of the pack here. So this here is number 6, and that is Horacle. This is probably one of the last ones where they're really still sort of nasty vocally, and like really the growls are still there. Like this and Colony, this is kind of where it sort of peters off in terms of like the growls. Jotun, Food for the Gods, Gyroscope, Dialogue with the Stars, episode 666, Worlds Within the Margin. That's all killer. Everything Counts. Title track is really good too. It was this was a really good album. I really, really enjoyed listening to this. And of course, this is where Bjorn was still playing on the drums. The one thing I'll say through every one of their records, through every one of their albums and leading up into the rest, the intensity in terms of the guitar tone gets better over time. But I'll bring up the guitar tone later with something else that was fucking released by this band. Number 5. This is where shit's gonna hit the fan. I can just fucking tell you that right now. Battles. Why? Very simple. This is Peter's last album with the band. Nicholas is in. Daniel's still no. Yeah, Daniel leaves, and this is the Joe Rickard stuff. Now the thing about this is, for the first half of this record, Drained, The End, Like Sand, The Truth, In My Room. In My Room's okay. I mean, it's just okay. Before I Fall's alright. When you get from Through My Eyes, Battles, Here Until Forever, Underneath My Skin, Wallflower, and Save Me, that's where the record really takes off, I find, personally. Now, this is more alt metal than this is mellow death, but there's still enough heavy bits in this to still being able to call it a metal record. Not a death metal record. Very mellow, very alternative to what they've done. Here Until Forever is a really sort of... That one hits kind of close to me because my little one loves it, like really likes it. She and I will sit there and I'll put it on and she'll sit there and sing along to it because it's kind of cool. Underneath My Skin's a great song, especially when you're in sort of one of those bad mindsets. Wallflower is good, and Save Me is also great too. Number 4. Yeah, number 4 is the other one I don't own, and that's the Jester Race. Now, people are going to be freaking out, and that's cool. But with the Jester Race, even though it still has that stupidly killer harsh vocal that Anders did when he first joined, there's too much. There's a couple of bits in there where there's no vocals, and it's sort of like, and I don't hate them, but I just really wish that there would have been a lot more of Anders' vocals on it, as opposed to these sort of like just mellow bits where it's just music or whatever. It's like these interludes. And interludes are okay, but not as much as there are on this record. But there's a hell of a lot of good tracks on that record. It's number 4 for a reason. But the rest of the records, it's going to be some controversy, and that's kind of how I work. So sorry. Number 3. And the Jester Race has actually been re-released too. So I'm going to pick this up a little bit because we're at 17 minutes and I still have a rant to do. But it won't be long. It's really sort of, Number 3, Reroute To Remain. This is where I find they really sort of kicked into the real mellow part in the mellow death really kicked in. Title track is awesome. Drifter is probably by far my favorite In Flames song that they've ever released. The chorus is real big with the clean singing, then after the screams. The whole song is like, it's just chuggy and there's a lot of high screams. It's fucking excellent. Cloud Connected is where they sort of, where some more of the synth stuff kicks in. It's a crowd favorite. You get that whole jump, and then Anders has that sort of like little sort of mellow, singing clean singing type thing going on. It's quite nice. Dawn of a New Day is awesome. Economic is cool. Dismiss the Cynics is great. Dark Signs is good. Black and White, Metaphor. All killer stuff. But again, this is sort of where they started to move into sort of that mellow stuff, but way more mellow and way more alternative metal as opposed to the mellow death. So some people will like it and some people won't, and that's fine. That's cool. Number 2, Clayman. This record is probably one of their best. And the reason why it's not number 1 is because number 1 has a bit of sentimental bits to me. Bullet Ride is awesome. Probably a great riff. Pinball Map's a fantastic riff. The title track is amazing. Satellites and Astronauts is awesome. Another Day in Quicksand, and of course the big fucking track that they always have played in their set list is Only for the Weak. I mean, how are you not bobbing your head and yeah, this is cool. It's absolutely perfect. But I'll get to this again in a minute. Number 1. The reason why this is number 1 is solely because of the fact that it is the very first record by them that I heard. It is what I listen to every single day, about 10 to 12 times in a row without switching. There was actually I think there was an entire month of every day this is all I listened to. And that is Come Clarity. Really, this here is just, honestly, this is just an amazing record. From Take This Life, Leeches, Reflect the Storm, Reflect the Storm, Scream, the title track, Vacuum is cool, Pacing Death's Trail is also pretty decent, Crawl Through Knives is a great song too, I really love that. Our Definite Struggle and Your Bedtime Story, Your Bedtime Story is scaring everyone. That's really fucking cool. I like that. I like it because it's kind of creepy as shit. But Take This Life, Leeches, Reflect the Storm, and Crawl Through Knives are without a doubt, my favorite tracks. Next to Drifter. Now, the Rant, because we are at 21 minutes. I'm going to make this real simple. This band needs to walk away from Howard Benson. They need to never have that man produce another record. Unfortunately, he is producing their newest and latest record. This album could be basically what could classify as the death knell for me to walk away from this band. The collection will stay intact because it is literally almost every fucking record. Like I said, there's only 2 I'm missing. The reason why I say this is because they re-released this because of the 20th anniversary of it, and they re-recorded 4 main songs. They re-recorded Bullet Ride, Pinball Map, Only for the Weak. No, not Only for the Weak, Clayman, Bullet Ride, and Pinball Map, I think. You motherfuckers need to never work with Howard Benson again. Just stop production right now and get someone else. Call up Frederick Nordstrom for all I fucking care. But because the simple fucking fact that you guys actually fucking allowed those re-recorded tracks to be fucking released is beyond me. It is beyond my comprehension. It is beyond anything that I could even remotely fucking process in my head. Bjorn, were you even there when they fucking... did you even record them parts? Are you fucking serious? You actually were okay with letting that out? Dude, that is by far the fucking worst guitar tone I've ever heard. And I've played on a shitty record. Dude, what the fuck? The guitars are super low, and here's the guitars, Anders' vocals are way the fuck up here. Turn him the fuck down. He doesn't need to be that fucking loud. Okay? The mix is trash. Just tell Howard to go fuck himself, because he's obviously not a good producer. And for those who are probably thinking, oh, well, he's a great producer. No, you're idiots. I would look that band straight in their fucking face and tell them, you guys are useless. How the fuck do you let that go out? But based on the lineup, as we all know, it's just the Anders and Bjorn show. And that's the thing. I don't hate this band, but if they put out another record that sounds anything like this, or it sounds like the fucking re-release or the re-record of Clayman, they're all up for sale. I'll make that shit happen. Like they better go back and find. They better go back to, like, go dig your head out of your ass and get shit like this. If they put out something like this, not a problem. Cool, you're forgiven. Except that fucking Clayman shit. Guy, there are people that are like, oh man, no, you don't know what you're talking about. It's actually really, really good. I'm like, no, you're a fucking idiot. You don't know production. I mean, Jesus Christ, like that, those re-records, this sounds better. And this come out like, in fucking like 1990, 91. Fuck off. Yeah, so they better get their shit together and figured out. Because if they put out another bad fucking album like that, like I the Mask or something that was a shit mix and production, like, the re-record, they might as well piss off somewhere. But anyways, that's my ranking for In Flames, and probably going forward, I'm going to take it easy on the rankings. And I've got some reviews to do. I got to line up a couple other things, and we'll be good to go. I'll see you again soon.